right, good. Our gains are completely off. Well, to be fair, I do set your gain a little bit higher because you do tend to talk a little bit lower.
Well, this is me speaking and looking at the computer at the same time.
Doesn't seem like you're peaking too bad. And me speaking, it seems like maybe my gain should be a little bit higher.
A little bit more, yeah.
Maybe I should be. Maybe I've been streaming at such a low volume. How about that for a nice speaking volume? Is that making a nice chunky waveform?
They look about the same.
Yeah, fuck it. Oh, my phone. I took my fanny pack off. I had all my topics on my phone. Episode 6. I don't have to start right into an intro.
Very special episode 6 of the hit, critically acclaimed podcast called Hard Trash.
It definitely hasn't had any problems with episodes coming out whatsoever. Thank you for bearing with us on that. It is my first foray of ever doing any audio editing, and it's not going well. But hey,
it's going well.
Only up from here.
You're growing. I mean, the worst it could have gone is that you were incapable of doing it, and that didn't happen.
True.
So,
I guess it's better than the worst case scenario.
We started up.
One thing that I actually have, I didn't know was like a thing for other people, but another podcast had kind of talked tertiarily about it. What is a food you can eat you think infinity of? Because I have an answer for it, where like if you put in whatever amount of it, like the biggest amount you could buy at once, I could eat it without a problem. And I know for a fact, I've done it multiple times.
I bet I've had something like that. I mean, typically, like, the largest amount of food I could eat in a sitting is, like, 1 pound. Like, a full pound of food.
Uh-huh.
But
that's fair.
It would have to be something really light. Probably not a lot of liquid in it.
Interesting.
Well, water's heavy.
Yeah, fair.
I guess cotton candy, because like...
You think your teeth wouldn't start ringing after a while for eating those?
No, it would hurt, but like, I'm thinking about stomach space. Like, that is a large volume of food that as soon as it touches water, becomes like zero volume.
So
damn near.
So the biggest quantity of cotton candy I'm thinking that you could buy is like the carnival size ones where you literally get like the 3-foot long bag or whatever. You think you can eat all of that in one sitting?
I mean, I would hate myself afterwards, but I could do it. There's a lot of things I could do and not like it.
Well, is there anything you could do with joy? Like you think you would want to do? Like, oh yeah, give me some of that. Like,
Let me eat an infinite amount of it. I don't know. I want to hear your answer.
I was gonna say my answer is applesauce. The biggest family-sized thing of applesauce, multiple times my parents have brought that home, and I've done it when I've lived alone too. I've just eaten that in one bowl, in one sitting. And I've been like, I could still eat food afterwards. Like, I could slam applesauce.
Hell yeah. I do really enjoy buying those little, like, applesauce packets. Well,
yeah.
I don't actually enjoy buying them that much, but I enjoy eating them. The variety of flavors, all that stuff. Quick, easy snack. I think a good portion of, like, food designed for children is like also pretty good for adults, because I feel like that snack pack thing, I mean, it's got little cartoon characters on it and shit like that.
Yeah, but it's like vitamin boosted.
Cross country runners.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because it's like got vitamin boosted stuff in it, right? Like,
yeah, it's good.
It's fortified.
One of my favorite low calorie desserts is you can buy those itty bitty little yogurts, not Greek yogurt, regular yogurt.
Yeah, like the little drinkable ones, right?
No, just a little thing of it that you would like spoon, but it comes with like a small serving of M&Ms or like Oreos or something.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Mix in. And like one of those is like really small, and it's like the perfect amount of treat for me, you know.
Yeah, I like it.
And it's yogurt instead of like something exceptionally sugary, and then you just add like a little bit of candy into it, less than a regular serving of that candy.
That's something that I'm a little bit okay with, shrinkflation-wise, is like ice cream. Like, ice cream bars have 100% gotten smaller since I was a kid, like especially the Dean's just classic ice cream sandwich. And, you know, I'm a little bit okay with it, because I eat the ice cream bar and I'm like, you know what? That's a good amount of ice cream. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like getting... I want to purchase things in like smaller denominations. Like even just buying like a pack of chicken and it has like 4 gigantic chicken breasts in it. I'm like that's like a lot of work. You know, I wish they would sell it in like a single one for, you know, whatever, the same price per pound.
Right.
And I just get 1 chicken breast and I can turn that into like 2 or 3 meals when, like, you know, I'm adding in vegetables and you know, sauce and rice, or whatever I'm doing with that.
But instead you're forced to make like 6 or 7 meals at one time, basically.
Also, update. You know, I think it's very healthy for us to grow and change our opinions over time. I'm now less upset about people parking in the middle of the street with their lights on.
Yeah, because you had to do that.
Nope, it's just a separate development of mine, and not a way to cope with the fact that I did that all earlier this week.
I mean, yeah, but when it's convenient, it's one of those things. It's rules for thee, and then as soon as you really need it, it's like, well, I guess the leopards are going to eat my face too.
I'm framing it as character growth.
Fair. That's fair. Speaking of character growth, it's actually kind of a decent segue. What is, since we've had the discussion of like the best way to get doing something is just to do it. What's your opinion on the, just I guess the expression or overall idea, face your fears?
I think it's an empowering statement.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it is could be necessary for a lot of people, you know, to help them get over their fears and like things that they might struggle with, and they might find, you know, a lot of joy in being able to do things that they weren't really able to do before. I think the main thing is having control of the environment, making sure that the environment is basically just you having the decision to face your fears.
Right.
Like, face your fears is sort of like words of encouragement, not a command.
Sure.
And, you know, like, you can't decide for somebody else for them to face their fears.
Right. That's kind of where I was going with it, is when fear gets to, like, I don't know if it's really on the same spectrum, but when it gets to something bordering on trauma, like somebody who has agoraphobia and something like that, is that still a viable, maybe not just like, hey, go face your fears, get over it type deal, but is that still like a valid step process of just like, maybe you should get out there, like that's the only way you're gonna get over it, is to go out there and do it, even though you shouldn't just cold turkey it.
Yeah.
Do you think that's still like a valid process to take for somebody?
Yeah, I mean, like, typically in like therapy and stuff, I imagine that they incorporate things like this. I mean, exposure therapy is a thing, and you decide when would be, like, you work on the stuff beforehand to kind of like muster up the courage,
right,
to like be capable of doing something like that, and then you do it and like you don't get hurt doing it, and then you come back inside and then you're like, like, I have at least one positive experience in recent memory, or at least not negatively horrifying experience in recent memory of going outside, and you just sort of got to keep with it. You know, you got to like retrain yourself.
Yeah, I think that
okay with it.
I think that's the biggest thing, because a lot of, I mean, not like I am an expert in it. I don't have any phobias that I have overcome, but I feel like a lot of fears and phobias just kind of get set into that, like, you know, like you're saying, you have the past experiences of it, and you just get set in of like, this is how it's going to be, so this is how it is, sort of deal, and you never really see that new page to turn, so you never can turn it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, on the topic of phobias, like, I feel like there's also some phobias that don't really aren't backed up by like a negative experience. It's just a phobia. Like, you know, a bunch of people are arachnophobic.
Right.
And I don't think every single one had a bad experience with spiders.
No, but they may have like been scared by a spider, like the first time they experienced it, like in a movie or in a book or something. It was just like a traumatic experience. Mm-hmm. It's just, I assume a lot of things like that goes back to like the worst thing that has happened to you is the worst thing that has happened to you. So like a 5-year-old, even if it's something kind of innocuous as an 18-year-old, if it would happen to them, because it happened to them at 5, now they have this trauma carrying at 18, they're a little more scared than a regular 18-year-old would be. Mm-hmm. Whereas like if someone just saw a scary spider movie when they were as a teenager, they probably wouldn't be as scared.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking like, I don't necessarily believe that everybody with arachnophobia has had a bad experience with a spider. You know, like just having seen one, I wouldn't really count as like a bad experience. It's the fact that you have the phobia that makes it a bad experience, not like that. Not that it was a bad experience inherently.
True. I think arachnophobia too kind of plays upon like a primal fear. Just
That's
like
what I'm getting at.
the fear of like drowning and things like that. Like it's all just kind of baked into us.
Yeah, some creepy crawlies, insects,
Snakes, things like that. Things that just move in ways that not many other things move like. Because like a snake is a very unique moving object that you don't see do anything else to where you're like, it like sticks out to you immediately.
You ever see hoop snakes?
Are those the ones that bite their tails and like roll?
I think they bite their tails, but I'm pretty sure they do like move by rolling down hills. Yeah,
That's
they like
awesome.
turn into like a circular thing and go for it.
Just Shel Silverstein missing piece their way down hills. You imagine like
Perfect.
it's just like you see like 3 snakes rolling down a hill. There's one of them like jumps at you at the end of it. Like that'd be the scariest thing. It's like out of a video game. You got to jump over the snakes that are rolling down at you. I got a Donkey Kong Country or something.
You gotta throw a barrel at them.
Yeah, right. Got to do some shit like that. Fucking hoop snakes. Yeah, right. Get out of here.
It'd be a lot scarier
It
if
ain't
they
real.
were self-propelling instead of relying on gravity.
Yeah,
You know,
they
to
could
pull
just
down the
pick up
hill.
and roll.
They
Wow.
start coming up the hill at you. Like it's over.
Yeah, it's like in those games, like Rust and Skyrim, where they're just able to like go sideways up the mountain. The horses are just like, oh no, they're coming up. That'd be terrifying. Bugs that live on top of water too, like water spiders, absolutely terrifying. Like water should be the place for fishes. Why aren't fish eating you? How are you able to be there? You don't make sense. Get out of here. Snakes swimming, get out of here. That ain't real.
Apparently, those are like the worst. Like some of the most venomous snakes are sea snakes.
Really?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Or maybe it's just that all sea snakes are venomous, or a majority of sea snakes are venomous, as opposed to like land snakes where you got your constrictors and
Right, they got more options.
You know,
whereas
stuff.
they need to be venomous in the water hunting their prey. It makes sense there. They've mastered land and water. They've got some extra powers. They're like the fucking boss snakes.
They also got gliding snakes.
Don't tell me there are snakes that fly.
Glide. So
What?
like the hoop
They
snakes,
jumping out of
can't- they
trees?
can't
What
go
the hell?
up.
But what do they would? They climb up trees and jump off and like come down at people like birds?
They do like a wiggly pattern, which spreads like their body over like more like sideways area, so that they can pick up the wind. It's really cool to look at, but probably would be very scary.
Yeah, a flying fucking snake coming at you. That'd be the scariest thing in the world. Oh my god.
Wow, but everyone's okay with flying squirrels, but all of a sudden,
I didn't say that.
okay, fair. What's your opinion on flying squirrels?
I mean, what's his face? I'm pretty sure Bullwinkle is a flying squirrel, so they're cool. Rocky and Bullwinkle were cool guys. Or no, wait, Rocky was a flying squirrel. Bullwinkle was the moose.
What a duo.
Now I'm thinking, hold on. Now I'm messed up. I gotta look up Rocky and Bullwinkle. Eventually, a flying moose and squirrel. Okay.
Bullwinkle sounds like a moose name because I'm pretty sure male mooses are called bulls.
Rocky the squirrel and Moose Bullwinkle J Moose.
Nice.
Rocket J Squirrel, nicknamed Rocky.
Rocket J Squirrel. That's pretty cool.
Man, pretty cool name. I mean, he's a flying squirrel. He's got his little hat or helmet and goggles and everything. Yeah,
Wait, doesn't he fly a plane?
I don't know if he ever does in the show. I think he's just like a pilot. I don't think it ever shows him in the plane. Yeah, no, he's just like, well, pilot man. Well, there's not a really good picture of him. Well, and that played a video. All right, thanks, IMDb.
Yeah, thanks fucking any new website where as soon as I open it up, I'm getting like a cookie request and like all these ads start loading and stuff like that. Horrible.
Absolutely terrible. We need like a mobile browser that literally is just like Web 1.0 browsing. Just give me, like you said, like the Google web browsing thing. I'm kind of on board with it now. Just give me a text-based nothing but browser where I have to figure it out.
Yep.
Make me work.
Yep. Web 1.0. I miss it.
Ugh, good times. Well, I guess I was never really around for web. I was around for Web 1.0. I just didn't interact with much of Web 1.0. Like by the time I got around was like 2000 and I want to say like 6, 7 was when I was really into it because I was like emulating stuff in like 2000, 2001, but mostly like my brother was helping me do that, and it was just like, oh, okay, and I could play Doom on the computer now or Super Mario Brothers on the computer, whatever.
I'm pretty sure TimeCube is Web 1.0.
What's TimeCube?
You don't know TimeCube? Mm-mm. It's a single web page. You just Google it while I'm talking about it. But like, it is the ramblings of a man explaining how each day is actually 4 days. I don't even know where the time cube comes in, but he's basically calling NASA a bunch of liars and
the site's domain has expired.
What?
September 2015. This is
no
news.
There's a newer. I saw a time cube after that. If you just do time, what do you do?
I just googled time cube, and then time cube is a pseudoscientific.
Does it have a Wikipedia page?
Yeah, of course
but
it does.
It itself is gone.
The time cube website does not have a homepage as such. Yeah, it's basically just saying that it's this guy struggling with schizophrenia.
Yeah.
But yeah, the website does not exist anymore.
Right. So it's a good time. He's got a lot of diagrams. He has a lot of colorful text, probably done in HTML.
Says here, Ray's theory of time is, quote, an incredibly confusing one, peppered with racism and homophobia.
It's an interesting read, And think about how all that comes into, the day is actually 4 days, each a quarter the length of a regular day.
So does that mean that he just like sleeps 4 times a day? Is that what he's getting at?
No, I just think it's just a way of, he just decided that you gotta divide it like that.
Alright.
But
fair enough, Ray.
It's some classic stuff.
Yeah.
I would recommend reading it, but 1, you can't, and 2, I never got past maybe 30 lines at most.
Yeah.
It's just dense. It's
dense.
But Rip and Pip Time Cube.
I want to try. I know. What was it? Battlefield Earth was like the movie based off of L. Ron Hubbard's book, but I want to try and actually read an audiobook of Dianetics or something like that, because I've heard that he is the master of the first draft, where it just goes on for so many crazy things, and chapters just end with no kind of conclusion to them, and all the writing is so nonsensical.
What's Dianetics?
Dianetics was, I believe, the first book that he wrote that kind of kicked off Scientology.
Oh, okay. See, I was missing that part of the context.
Yeah, sorry. L. Ron Hubbard is the guy that made Scientology.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know. I thought that was a known thing by you. My apologies.
No. I mean, all I know about Scientology is 1, where the fuck is that guy's wife? 2,
Debbie dead for real.
They got a lot of celebrities into Scientology, including the voice actress of Bart Simpson.
Tara Strong, right?
No, it's not Tara Strong. It's older than that.
Isn't it?
But
I'm thinking of Timmy Turner. I don't know why Bart Simpson,
yeah.
Timmy Turner all went into my mind.
I mean, young kid.
Nancy Cartwright.
A lot of young boys are played by women in cartoons.
Yeah.
Nancy Cartwright, yeah. Leaving voicemails on people's phones, inviting them to some Scientology recruitment event as Bart.
Oh God.
Right?
Ugh. That's rough.
Yeah, I mean, she continued to voice Bart for a while, I believe, or maybe still is right now.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, she's a prominent figure. Scientology is one of those things of you're gonna keep your role and be your powerful self. We're gonna make sure about that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you? So you probably haven't seen then. You know who? I think it's Henry Thoreau is his name, or the documentarian. He's a British guy.
I recognize the name.
He did a Scientology documentary that is super, super, super interesting. So, because, you had said, that where's that guy's wife? That guy, the leader of Scientology, I think he's, the president or whatever, he, barely makes any public appearances. And, almost nobody knows, what he's like or anything like that. So, he went and interviewed one of the guys, someone who had defected from Scientology, who was, kind of a top-up member who had a lot of personal dealings with them. And their plan was they were going to use his knowledge of the president of Scientology and have people audition to be like, do mock scenes with him. To be like, all right, we're going to have you play the role of the president of Scientology and deliver like this speech. That we know we gave the speech, but there's no video recording of it. There's just like the transcript or whatever. So so they go through the whole audition process with this guy, and like the guy who is defected from Scientology is directing like, all right, yeah, this is what this guy did. And he's like, you need to yell at him, tell him he's worth nothing. And he's grabbing the documentarian, throwing him up against the wall. He's like, yeah, grab him by the shirt. Tell him he sucks. Tell him you're going to have sex with his wife. Tell him his wife hates him. And he's just like screaming and like, I'll slap him around. It's the craziest thing. Like, this is how this guy like ingratiated people into Scientology. Like, that's the scene they were going through of like, this is what he does to people when he first meets them.
Oh, wow.
And it's just like, oh my God, what kind of fucking crazy cult is this?
I mean, after that, sold.
Right, because he does like the whole audition where it's like kind of going over a line, and afterwards he's like, oh yeah, tell him you're gonna have sex with his wife. All right, yeah, that was good. That was pretty convincing. I think this is the guy. Like, he's just like it's 100% like, oh, you weren't fucking around with that. This is like, you're just digging up some deep memories. It was really uncomfortable to watch, but it's super, super interesting.
Yeah. I feel like, in general, it's probably pretty hard to start a religion nowadays, or within the past, like, I don't know, 50, 100 years, something like that.
Oh, you would think
without
cults
like,
are everywhere, man.
Well, yeah, but like, and be taken seriously is the end of that sentence.
Well, that's the thing. You only need to be taken seriously by 100 people, and then they can fund your life. 100 people go homeless and just give all your money to you. That's all you need, man. Cults exist in pockets, especially out in like the rural parts of America. It's spooky.
But I don't mean like cults. I mean like a full-blown religion.
Well, most cults usually have that kind of like worship aspect to it.
I mean,
they're usually
that's their marketing.
Right, it's like an off branch of Christianity or something. They're always doing something either in the name of God or in the name of some saint or whatever, a higher power. Mm-hmm. That's Cult 101.
What do you know about Satanists?
Pretty good people, from everything I've heard about them. Really nice people.
Yeah, it's a group of atheists. They like don't actually believe in Satan or God or anything like that. They're like mainly just like religion rejectors.
Right. They're just like, hey.
So they use the symbol of Satan as a symbol of that, of like rejecting the doctrine of religions.
Right. From what I've read of like, I guess what you would call their doctrine, it's normally just like, hey, do what you want, don't hurt people, and don't be a dick.
Yeah. Well, there's also some stuff in it, like it's that, but there's like a little twang of like Satanism. It's like.
And also drop pentagrams on your body.
It's like, do not like making advances on someone that doesn't have them invited, and it's like
some vampire shit.
Well, no, it's just like in like a sexual relationship or whatever. Like, don't make advances on people if it's not going well or whatever.
Sure.
If someone does that in your house, destroy them. Like, it's
wait a minute.
It's literally the word destroy them. From
Hold
what
on.
I remember. So
decimate them as they stand. You just have like an axe on the wall. Take the axe down and just chop them in the chest once, like Skyrim style. And just imagine like literally just like Oblivion combat where you're just ha ha ha, just chopping them down where they stand.
I love those Oblivion things.
Stabbing a rat 16 times and missing 10.
No, that's Morrowind.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I can't play Morrowind after I played Oblivion because I got Morrowind. I started by walking to some towns and stuff like that, progressing quests or whatever.
Sure.
Walked into a cave, walked up to a rat, swung, hit it with my sword, and then it said the word miss, and I quit.
It's dice rolls, man. The rat dodged.
Yeah,
it just doesn't have the fidelity to show it yet.
They have the fidelity to show you hitting the rat,
but not missing.
It's not like they even have anybody dodge until. Or in any of the games, nobody dodges shit. They all just stand in front of each other and whack each other.
Listen, man, have you've played the Fallout New Vegas and everything? Every time you go into VATS, you're given a 95% chance to hit. You play Fire Emblem and you have one square of attack with a sword, 95% chance. Because they know code is stupid. It doesn't matter if you have a 100% chance, it's gonna miss anyway. It's gonna miss sometimes anyway.
I pulled up the Church of Satan, 11 Satanic Rules of the Earth, 1967. by Anton Sanzor LaVey. So here's the ones I was thinking of. Number 5, do not make sexual advances unless you are giving the mating signal. Number 4, if a guest in your lair annoys you, treat him cruelly and without mercy.
Annoys you. If he's doing something that pisses you off a little bit.
And 11, when walking in open territory, bother no one. If someone bothers you, ask him to stop. If he does not stop, destroy him. There's a lot of good... It's a pretty good 11 rules. I mean, entertaining at least. I don't have anything against Satanists. But
that reminds
the language of it is...
It's definitely written by like, oh yeah, I'm such a cool badass kind of guy language. Like, I'm going to destroy people who don't agree with me.
But then you have rule number 9. Do not harm little children. Good rule.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, like the 10 Commandments, like even though Christianity is whatever it is, like they have do not kill, do not steal, like good rules.
Yeah. At least they can agree on something.
Right. So, this reminds me though, do you remember the rules of the internet?
Yes, but they're also... I know they're called the rules of the internet, but they're more like 4chan.
Right, it was mostly just jokes. Like, half of them are Chuck Norris jokes. The only one that's still, like, around is Rule 34, one that people know about.
The one that's still, like, referenced, yeah. There's rules 1 and 2, which...
Don't talk about B, or whatever.
Yeah, do not talk about B. It's just a reference to Fight Club.
Right. But it was like most of them were jokes and just kind of like Chuck Norris puns and whatnot. But one of them, I was just looking at it the other day, really stuck out to me of being like, oh, the internet kind of understood what it was. I'm trying to find the exact wording of it. Just see, it's these two. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Anything you say can and will be turned into something else.
Yep.
That's one of the craziest things. Like, wow, they predicted so much with that. Of like, people just still to this day don't really understand that about the internet. Like, what do you mean by thing? It's not mine when I put it on the internet. Like, anything you put on the internet, it's to the internet's now. You don't get that anymore. You can try to have claim over it, whatever you want, but it's out there.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of makes NFTs funnier.
Yeah.
Because that was like a serious, quote unquote serious attempt to like get around that, you know? Like
right.
You own something that's on the blockchain
and like the technology of it at its root can be useful, just like the things with AI. Like you have an art like piece that now you can literally track to the source. So if you want like digital art to be, used for production purposes and you want to be able to know whether or not someone's stealing, pretty easy to do now. So for people who want to use and sell digital art, there's a market for that.
Well, isn't it just like a token on the blockchain used to verify ownership of something else?
Right.
But it's not actually like... That was the whole thing, is that people just screenshot your NFTs and then the NFT owner would be like, stop it.
Well, yeah, because then they'd be able to have the picture, but that person who screenshotted it wouldn't have the blockchain reservation. That's the kind of thing of like...
But people don't respect it.
Yeah, no, that's the whole thing of like, it's not really a respected thing for just everyday pictures, but say if you're making digital art for, a big corporation and then you have your... you put it on the blockchain of like, hey, I'm the person that made this, and there's the digital receipt of that, and then you give it to that corporation, and then you see that it's used illegally, you could take them to court and say, well, show me the blockchain receipts of where you got this from. Because if you only got it from me and you were only allowed to use it within our contract rights, now you violated it.
Well, you can do that anyways.
I mean, you can't prove it. That's the thing. Now with the blockchain technology, I suppose you can. You can prove that I'm the one that created this, and they did take it from me, and then also use it beyond the bounds.
Yeah, but I mean, you kind of like cover that with copyright already. The one thing that I think NFTs could be good for, or useful for, rather, good may be a strong word, video game loot box assets. So you know how people sell like Counter-Strike gun skins and like...
Sure.
They'll sell like accounts with like specific like character skins on them and stuff like that. You could actually trade these things a lot more like verifiably, using an NFT. But I don't necessarily think we need it. I just think that it would potentially even be a positive thing for the consumer rather than like the distributor, because if they like ban your account or whatever, it doesn't matter. Those things that you buy are just gone because you're paying to rent them.
Right.
You know, you paid a fee so you could get access to this in a game that they can revoke your access to.
Right.
Whenever they want, you know, given X, you know,
Yeah, if you break their terms of service, yeah.
But if you own it as an NFT, you could like resell it or something like that.
True.
And it's like an actually like...
You own it outside of the game's ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of that NFTs would be useful for.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the whole argument of, like, that on a bigger scale of, like, decentralized banking, right? Just like, now you don't have to do within the government system. It's like, good luck circumventing that. Good luck circumventing the entire economy. CSGO's economy, feasible. The entire U.S. economy, they're going to run you down.
Yeah. I mean, Bitcoin's like the only... Not the only. Bitcoin's the big cryptocurrency.
Even then, didn't that just crash? Like, it had a huge dip, and it's, I think, on the way down.
I believe it. I still see people on Twitter with like .ETH, like Ethereum at the end of their names. So yeah, Ethereum is sticking around.
Yeah, that's become like the base for like a bunch of other coins. Like, you trade all your money to Ethereum, and then you can use Ethereum to purchase Bitcoin or other coins or whatnot. It's like the middleman coin between most coin-based things. From what I know, anyway. I dabbled very little into cryptocurrency when it first came out. Believe it or not, my dad tried to get me into it.
I did actually buy some crypto at one point. I remember when Dogecoin was taking off.
Oh, yeah?
And I put in $1,000. It went up to $2,000, and I took it out.
Nice.
And I said, no more.
Yeah, 100% gain.
Yep.
That's all you need, baby.
That's all I need. You know, like, it felt risky. I don't even know why the fuck I put $1,000 into it. I just really trusted it, I guess. But, I don't know. I had a feeling. And I stuck to my gut, and I was right. And I was like, that felt awful. Risking that much. So that's why I don't really gamble either.
Let's
I
go
guess
gambling.
not why I don't gamble, but...
Yeah.
Aw, dang it. But bingo, though. That's the type of gambling I can get behind.
Oh, yeah?
I feel like I went like to real bingo like a month ago. It was hardcore. Like, the minimum amount of bingo you can play, you'd buy like an entire booklet, and each like round has 6 games of bingo that you would be playing simultaneously.
Oh, my God.
And there's like 11 rounds.
Jesus, you're like playing like non-stop bingo, like trying to keep.
Yeah,
that's hard to keep up.
I was having a lot of trouble keeping up.
My God.
I think about like that being in the same like hotel casino as, like just the rest of the casino was slots, pretty much.
Yeah.
A couple like poker tables, just slots like wall to wall. Smoking section full of slots.
Of course, yeah.
And then bingo. So it's like slots, you kind of like don't really think or anything. You just kind of press button.
Right.
Again and again, you know, sit there and wait for the dopamine to hit you. Bingo, I think that keeps you spry.
Yeah,
like
you really got to keep. You got to keep like a notice on things.
Yeah, they're like pretty quick talking about it too, and like it's also not as straightforward as just doing it like getting straight lines, you know. Stuff like that. It's more like each round will have like certain patterns available, and it's like for this round you need to get like you need to make an X, or you need to make a frame,
Okay.
or
Kinda neat.
you need to make like a C shape or a diamond or something like that.
Right.
And that's how you win. So there's all these different things you got to think about, and like what shape am I doing? And you gotta like be paying attention.
Yeah.
And then like once you like it'll be like 067 or whatever like that, and you gotta like stamp in all of them that like have it, because you could have like 4 of your 6 things with it.
Right.
I was stupid and bought 2 booklets, so I had a dozen.
Oh my God.
I wasn't keeping up.
Yeah, I was gonna say that seems like hard mode.
Yeah, I just thought I had better chances with that, but nope. it actually required a lot of effort. And then at the end, or like once you call bingo, they still verify it.
Got to, yeah.
Against like, you know, the random number generator or like the sequence of numbers, and because there's like an algorithm that will tell you associated, kind of like how with the lottery tickets, how like at the end of the day you just scan the barcode, and the barcode tells you whether or not you won.
Right.
Like the actual physical pictures don't matter to the people that are, or the robot that is determining how much money to give you.
Right.
So it's kind of like that, you have to scratch it off to see whether or not you won something before you want to turn it in. But with bingo, you have to keep up with that entire thing. And if you don't say that you got bingo, then you didn't get bingo. It's not like someone else will say they got bingo later, and then they check through the thing, and it's like, oh no, actually this person got it 2 turns ago.
Right, they're only checking that person's, not everybody's.
Yeah, so it's not, I mean, it is luck, but like, it's a performance-based gambling.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you really got to keep up with it. Sounds like there's a little bit of skill involved with that, more than any other casino game.
So yeah, I just think once I get real old, that's where you'll find me. It'll keep my brain young.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I've only seen like you're saying, the old people like in movies and shows when they go and play bingo, and it's always like the real slow, like old folks home type deal. So it's like, you don't really think of that when you think of bingo. It's cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
I was pleasantly surprised, and I was in over my head.
Going back to food, is there a certain food or like texture that you can like just think about that just makes you kind of sick? Like a wet bread type deal is a lot for some people. I like wet bread.
Me and Brian found canned
The surströmming?
silkworm pupa,
Oh.
and I ate one and vomited.
Just while it was moving around in your mouth? Is that what
No,
did
it was canned. They're all dead.
Oh.
A can full of live ones would be some crazy ass technology. But yeah, no, they're like, it's not like, I've eaten crickets, right? Crickets, millipedes, whatever, you toss them in like cheddar or whatever, they're crispy.
Sure.
And kind of still weird, but like, they're crispy.
Just crunch them down, yeah.
Something to enjoy about them. Nothing to enjoy about the silkworm pupa. I don't even know if that was meant for human consumption. If it is, more power to you to have the ability to eat that. But I wouldn't go out of my way for it. Ever.
Ugh.
Century egg made me want to vomit. Awful. And whatever the other thing is. Like the cartilage / like stomach lining type things. Awful is one of them.
Oh, is that just the name of it is awful?
OFFA.
Oh, awful. Okay, yeah, gotcha. That's in Red Dead 2, the assorted salted awful.
Yeah. I can't stand like the cartilaginous texture of those things where it's like somewhat firm but also like
rips and
like
tears,
slippery.
like skinny, yeah.
It doesn't really work for me, and it'll be in like pho or something like that, and it's like, I don't like this.
Yeah, I can't do chocolate, especially like darker chocolates that just give you that like kind of mud mouth sandy texture. Like I literally can't swallow that.
Oh.
I have to like spit it out or I'll throw it up because it's just like it becomes like sludge and it feels like radioactive in my mouth.
I love dark chocolate.
that sends shivers down my spine just thinking about that.
I would get like the 98%. I haven't done it in a while. 98% like cocoa things from the drugstore. It's like a single cube of it, and then you'd bite like a little bit off of the corner and chew it very slowly, and it's incredibly bitter.
Ugh, no, thank you. That'll kill me. I'm not a big fan of chocolate in general, like chocolate ice cream. Just the taste of it is kind of but that texture specifically, when it just turns to like sandy mud, and you're just like, I have to spit it out. I have to spit it out, rinse it out, brush my teeth. Like I have to get it out of my mouth.
Okay, well
It's
now
violent.
I propose a challenge. I will eat dark chocolate. You will eat silkworm pupa.
Wait, what? Do you like dark chocolate though? Wait a minute.
Yeah,
this doesn't add up.
We're just eating the things that the other one wouldn't. Like if we're at a table and like it's like maybe family style eating or whatever like that. You can give me your side of dark chocolate and I give you my side of silkworm pupa.
How about we flip it? How about you eat a silkworm pupa and I eat dark chocolate, and first one to swallow wins.
No.
Yeah, I don't want to do it either. That'd ruin the day.
Fair enough.
It would ruin whatever recording we were doing. I just wouldn't want to do it anymore. I'd be like sick.
Okay, so that's we're agreed. We're just not gonna do any of this.
Wet bread though is a consistency that I quite like, especially in an Italian beef sandwich. I love a dipped Italian beef.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. I don't think they actually dip them nowadays.
What do you mean? They just drizzle the au jus over it?
They like soak it, yeah, but like I don't think they physically dip it. I just think they put a bunch of gravy, because if you dipped it into that stuff, like the quality of that liquid is gonna go down.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
true.
full of all sorts of bits and stuff like that
fair.
over time. And it'll be like older and older bread sitting at the bottom of it.
I did not think about that. I was gonna get mad that they're cheating me on the dunk, but that's true.
Yeah, I mean they still it functionally equivalent to dunking it in.
It's soaked in the liquid. That's really all I care about. Mm-hmm. Give me that wet meat sponge.
Mm-hmm. Put some peppers on it.
Nah, not a big fan of peppers. Good mayonnaise, and that'll be good for me. Mayonnaise on an Italian beef is that good.
There's this place in my hometown called Cyoc, C-Y-O-C. Create your own cheesecake and cheesesteak.
Oh, interesting.
So they had like their list, their like menu of like, you know, cheesesteak, chicken cheesesteak, or chicken cheese sandwich.
Sure.
King chicken and steak, cheesesteak. Probably a mushroom one at this point. Cheesesteak fries, stuff like that. You would choose like the type of cheese that you want, and like any other fixins, like, you know, peppers, no peppers, mayonnaise on the bread, which was great. In that context, like the hot steak would like melt that and the cheese on top of it. Amazing. And then the cheesecake part of it, it's literally just like if Cold Stone sold like, instead of ice cream, it was like flavored cream cheese mixture. It's also pretty good. I've only gotten it once. I've mainly gotten the cheesecake cheesesteak.
Yeah, never heard of it. CYOC. Let's check that out.
Yeah. Sponsor us. We talk about Satanism.
Talk about Satanism. We haven't really doubled down on any of the gas station boner pills though.
I will say that I have not ever used boner pills.
Neither have I.
But I did buy a flavored condom from one of those little like twirly things. It was like a bunch of sex things.
Oh, one of like the quarter machines?
Yeah, it was like a flavored condom, flavored body paint or whatever, but it's like a tiny ass little tube of it. Gas station 25-cent sex toys, I guess.
Here we go. Let's do a quick review of this. Super excellent. Rhino 7 Blue. First, it increases the time of intercourse. Second, it increases the size and rock hard. Third, increases stamina and sex drive. No headache.
I mean, their marketing, their visual design.
That's pretty on point. It's a Rhino.
Throwing the word blue in there.
For some reason, there's no blue on the thing whatsoever. It's just gold. This
Viagra
Rhino
is blue.
Is it?
I've seen, you know, ads, and they would show you the diamond-shaped pill. It was blue.
Interesting. This is just a gold-plated pill. I assume there's no actual gold in it. I don't want to take any kind of pill that's like metal-colored, though. It says 10 days. Extreme stamina, 10 days. I guess you're going to be rock hard for 10 days straight. Jesus. That is a huge... It just says 10 days, so like, there's no explanation for it. Like, it's the one pill for 10 days. No problem.
They warn you against these.
That's why I'm like, it's going flying in the face.
This picture that you pulled up, public notification. Rhino 7 Blue 9000 contains hidden drug ... You can visit the FDA site that this is from.
Oh yeah, I mean that's fair. Any of these pills probably should be on a watch list of like dangerous chemicals, because it's probably not made under any FDA regulations. Literally, the second just says increases size and rock hard. Grow length, width of yours. That's the subtext of it. So this definitely seems like it should be not on shelves.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen if you took this?
Rock hard, intense stamina.
10 days straight.
Yep. I'm gonna expect them to. I'm gonna expect to perform as advertised.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to doubt them. They have some 9,000 in the top right corner. I don't know what that's referring to, but 9,000 is a big number. We like numbers. Better than 8,000.
Yeah, no, there's not even like any little text near it.
No, it just says 9,000. There's a big gold thing around it. Like, hey, doesn't that sound cool?
Oh, maybe it's like trading cards where like each one is
it's one of
has
9,000.
Yeah.
Only 9,000 of the super excellent Rhino 7 blues were ever made. It's like the Quaaludes from fucking Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. Well, you get to Rhino 8 and you're just like permanently hard for the rest of your life. And so you got to track down those pills if you really want it. If you think that's your thing.
If you're ready for that commitment, you can level up to Rhino 8.
Probably have to like. What accommodations would you need to like function after taking that pill? Like, would you?
You probably just need like a string tied around your waist to like keep it up at all times. Because like it'd just be straight out and whacking against things. You need to like keep it just pressed up, and waistbanding it would be too cumbersome.
I think waistbanding it makes sense. Yeah.
Waistbanding it would be like the go-to, but I feel like eventually it's gonna slip every once in a while, and you don't want to be adjusting yourself in public because it's not like you're gonna, it's gonna be gone in a little bit. So it's only you got a waistband for a little bit. I think you might just have to tie it down, get like a steel cup or something.
Really big pants. No. There's nothing I can think of. Like, I guess the waistband. Like, there's no like somewhat normal looking attire that you could wear.
No, you're not hiding a boner
to remedy that.
Yeah. If you're pitching a full tent 24/7, I don't think you're hiding it any other way besides just pointing it straight up. Peeing is going to be a nightmare too. I forget what's there's like a Zac Efron movie. I forget what it was, where it was right when he like one of his first out of high school musical movies. There's like 17 again, and then the one he did after that. But there's like a scene where they try Viagra for the first time and get boners for way too long, so they're literally just like planking on top of toilets. Like, is it weird that it's touching the water?
I think it would be pretty easy to manage that by just sort of doing like a lunge.
Oh yeah, you could just
you could do a lunge. You do a very like slight little angle like that.
Urinals would be out of the question though.
Yeah, I mean, at my work, like I just don't even use the urinals at all. Like the very first day that I went to the bathroom there, I used a urinal, and like there was nothing I could do to keep it from splashing back on me.
No.
And I was just like, never again.
Yeah, urinals suck. Just have a nice sit-down pee. Who cares?
Yeah. Like, I've heard it before, sometimes I don't want to play a fucking carnival game.
Sometimes I do, though. If I go to a bar and has, like, the little soccer ball and the thing there, I'll play that.
Perfect.
I've never actually been to a bar with that. I've just seen pictures of it, and I was like, it's so cool.
It'd probably be like a soccer sports bar.
Yeah, right. Makes sense.
I don't even think, like, a lot of the sports bars around here are soccer sports bars. It'd be like baseball, football. I mean, we got a soccer team out here, the Chicago Fire, which is hilarious as a name.
Yeah, pretty good. I'd never put that together, but that's literally just kind of part of our history. Is it burned down once from the big old fire?
Yep. They also got the TV show Chicago Fire.
Yeah.
Which I've been seeing a lot of on TikTok, of all places. I kind of want to actually watch it.
Is Rob Lowe in that one, or am I thinking of another fire one? He's in some firefighter show.
I will Google Rob Lowe.
It's Rob Lowe firefighter show. I'm pretty sure it might just be called like FD or something. I'm not exactly.
I'm really bad with like celebrity names for the most part.
Oh, Rob Lowe is the he was in Parks and Rec. He was in Tommy Boy.
Yeah, I recognize him now.
He's got one of those faces. He's been around and acting for a long, long time.
911 Lone Star is the one that you're thinking of.
Probably.
Yeah, Chicago Fire. I used to work on that lot where they would record Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, and Chicago Med.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was doing COVID tests for them.
Nice.
It was a pretty cool place to work, I guess. I remember around Halloween, because we used like one of the studio spaces for testing. Mm-hmm. Like they had so many studios at the place,
right?
And one of them was for testing, and they set up the giant, like, 10, 12-foot Home Depot skeleton in there.
Nice.
And they put a swab in his hand for, like, the COVID testing swab. And it looked like a big turkey leg at some points. Around Christmas, I believe they put a Santa hat on top of him. And then eventually he got dismantled. I remember taking a picture for my Instagram story and being like, look, I got a new coworker.
The big Home Depot skeleton is a great Halloween decoration. Mm-hmm. I like spooky mingos, too. You ever seen those? They're orange.
It's such a good name for it.
Orange and black flamingos. It's so good. Spooky mingos.
I love, like, the anatomically incorrect, like, skeleton versions of things. Like spider skeleton?
Yeah.
Not real.
No, they don't have that. They have the exoskeleton.
Yeah.
Like literally the opposite of a skeleton.
So you make a bone spider and it's scary.
Ooh.
It's scary because it's not real. Or, I don't know.
Could never be right. Bones are scary. It looks like a skeleton spider without that dang old skin. Which
Yeah.
would just be like a pile of mush, but whatever. Spiders are cool because they have basically like pressure systems that keep all their shit moving.
The
don't
thing
have-
with daddy long legs.
Yeah, like whenever you kill them, they'll just like and suck up because all their blood pressure will just like evaporate out of them. That's how they move. It's just like pressure hydraulic systems within their body. It's cool.
Yeah, it's like, I'm pretty sure it's, you know, the inflection points on it are just sort of like more, you know, they can bend. And so like this is it, like when there's no liquid in it and then you like push liquid into it and it fills up this area and straightens it out. And then that's how they walk. It's insane.
Super wild. Super cool. If only they weren't the worst creatures on Earth, those spiders.
Daddy long legs are fine.
Yeah, they're cool. I mean, spiders can be cute, especially when you get them up like close in the face. They're fine. But out in the wild, scariest damn thing in the world. Mm-hmm. It's so crazy that there's tiny things that can just kill you. Like,
like the brown recluse, black widow.
Right. Like things that you could easily just kill, like stomp on, goodbye. They can just kill you right back. It's the craziest, like, Pokemon super effective ever. We're fucking super effective, weak to poison.
There's this, like, I'm pretty sure there's some guy out there that, like, is purposefully getting bit by brown recluse spiders and is, like...
Trying to Princess Bride himself?
Well, no, he's saying, like, they aren't, like... Apparently his argument is that they aren't poisonous. There's just, like, this sort of secondary thing that happens when they bite you that ends up doing that, but it's not poison, per se. It's not, like... Or it's not venom that they're injecting into you. It's just, like...
You're getting like a bacterial infection or something?
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, that's Komodo's dragons, how they poison. They just have like a shit ton of bacteria in their mouth, and then so they'll bite an animal, like a deer or whatever the fuck, large mammal that they're hunting, and then it'll run away. And they'll sniff down their own saliva, and that saliva is just inherently like full of enough bacteria to kill the animal.
Jeez.
And obviously it doesn't affect the Komodo dragon.
Right.
So it doesn't worry about it.
Neat. I know armadillos too, they carry, I think they're just, I don't know if they use it as any kind of defense, but they carry, I think it's syphilis in their claws, just because they have like that bacteria.
Oh.
So that's it. They can like scratch you with it and then just literally just give you, I don't know if it's syphilis or it might be gonorrhea. It's some kind of like crazy STD. They carry and spread, oh, it's leprosy, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Not syphilis, leprosy, the other one. Through their burrowing and defecation, which contaminate the soil. So even if armadillos are around, you can get leprosy from the soil.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's why we should leave nature alone.
Yeah.
In a lot of situations.
Well, see, that's the thing. You leave nature alone, but then, like, you know, what if you build a civilization and then nature kind of encroaches on it? Like the Black Widow spider, like, you'd want to leave it alone. You also don't want your babies to die. So what do? You got to kill that Black Widow spider. Same with, like, the wolves that are patrolling around the area. Gotta get rid of them. I think
it's different between a spider and a wolf. Like, a spider is, like... You don't really feel as bad killing a spider.
Well, no.
It's not as, like, sentient as, like...
You wouldn't feel bad killing a wolf after it, like, hunts 3 children from your village, though.
Yeah, but, like, before it does that, like, that's the whole point.
You're gonna
kill
wait?
a spider, like, what are you gonna... If a spider bites you, like, either you smack it right away or you never get it again. You know, like, it just fucks off. Like, you're not gonna... Your son's not gonna go on a revenge campaign to track down that particular spider.
No.
They might for a wolf, but, like, you kind of... probably wouldn't kill a wolf before it.
Yeah, you might.
might.
If you're trying to establish a
Well,
civilization,
it would
you might
probably
kill the local wolves.
livestock first.
Yeah, you would
And
hope
you would kill
anyway.
it for that.
You would hope. I mean, I assume wolves have similar ways of hunting than coyotes, or like coyotes do, and coyotes are just whatever's near. Chicken, bird, child, small dog. If it's near and they think they can get it, they're gonna get it. So if it could go for livestock, but if a kid's around playing at the livestock, near the livestock, hey, that seems like an easier get than one of them cows that's behind the fence. They'll just play with that. They'll do a little thing like, oh, play a little nice, let's lay on their back, get the kid over. Boom.
Ouch.
That's the same thing they do with small dogs. They'll act like they want to play and do little things like, jump around with them, and get the small dog over, then 4 of them, jump them. Wolves are very, very smart, which is why you need to kill them right away and keep your civilization safe. Leave them in the wild, like if you get a nice barrier or whatever, let them kill the deers and whatever they're, out there. Let the cycle of life continue. But if you're trying to make a civilization safe, you're kind of going to need to get some of those predators out the way.
Well, I mean, I heard that the sort of eastern United States was having a big deer problem due to the killing of, I think it was wolves and ticks and mosquitoes.
The biggest thing I remember with deer problems where they were having chronic wasting disease was the biggest thing, which is basically like zombie deers, where they would get this disease that would literally, as the name implies, just chronically waste away. They wouldn't eat. They would become super aggressive, attack other deers and infect them with the disease, and just basically be skin and bones, have flesh missing from them as they're just still walking around barely alive. And that was infecting not only deer but also other animals and stuff like that. So they kind of had to cull a lot of deers. It wasn't so much there was an overpopulation as that they just need to get rid of a shitload of deers because of disease.
Oh, I'm pretty sure there was an overpopulation issue at one point as well.
I had not heard of it. Let me look it up. Overpopulation.
It was they were trying to reintroduce wolves to the whatever that mountain range is.
Yeah, are you talking about in Colorado, or was that New York they were trying to do that? I forget.
I thought it was a Virginia or something, or I could be wrong.
I remember there was something that actually a lot of wildlife conservationists were concerned about. I forget if it was Colorado or New York, but they were trying to reintroduce wolves, and it was one of the things of oh yeah, this kind of legislation is made by the state at large, by people, because the majority of the population lives in the metropolitan area. They kind of don't understand the decisions they're making for the rural area. So it's cool, the same way we did bison, we want to keep the, the animal population the way it should be. But again, we got rid of wolves for a reason. We probably shouldn't introduce them statewide. If they have a plan of introducing them, slowly and keeping them contained, fine. But I remember it was something that they were concerned with, that this might be done willy-nilly. Just get the wolves back.
Yeah, but getting rid of the wolves is kind of just us being an invasive species, right?
True.
And then you try to undo that because that hurts the ecosystem, and you get too many deer.
Right, and I was kind of going around the fact that it's a balance you need to strike. Sometimes there's nature that you don't need to disturb, that's kind of fruitless. But if you're going to make a society, I'm not saying we need concrete jungles of cities, but if you're going to make any sort of society, you kind of need to secure that safety, and that's part of it.
I also don't think wolves particularly want to go into more densely populated areas because there's no wildlife for them to hunt.
And who knows? Coyotes, when they got introduced to cities.
Well, yeah, coyotes are different though.
Coyotes
are more scroungy.
We can only hope. That's the thing. They're scroungy because they're small, shitty little wolves. What happens when they become the big wolves? Are they going to not be scroungy? Are they going to start breaking through windows and stuff? I hope not.
I don't think so.
I don't want to fearmonger for wolves or anything, but I don't want to let them loose in a city and just be yeah, wolves are supposed to be here.
I also remember hearing about a bunch of libertarians getting together and buying up land in some somewhat remote town, and then since they became the majority, they were sort of got to be in charge, and so they stripped a bunch of public systems garbage and stuff
Take care of your own garbage, fuckers.
And that attracted bears, and then they had a bear problem.
Yep.
And there wasn't really a lot of code being upheld to make sure their structures were super duper safe and
Yeah, that's another part of striking a balance. If it's not always just eliminating a population of things. Sometimes you just need to keep them out. Like you have those things that keep the garbage collecting thing. They probably notice like, oh yeah, bears eat garbage, especially towards the edges of town. So if we keep a really consistent garbage thing, we can keep the bears out. We don't have to hunt bears consistently and wipe out the population, because that is an option. You could just kill all the bears in the area and you won't have any more bears eating your garbage. But they have other things to do it. They don't need to. They can strike that balance and like, no, we can just pick up the garbage. Bears will mind their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very good example of striking a balance.
But I guess it also goes to like, if you take out your trash, then bears don't really have much of a reason to approach and like occupy that space, because there's not really anything for them.
Right.
Likewise, like wolves wouldn't really try to occupy a space that has 2 children. Like they're probably going to look for something a bit more bountiful than that.
We can only hope so, but like I said before, wolves are extremely smart. Smarter than your average bear, just to make a joke.
Hardy.
They're pretty damn smart. They can outsmart, like, humans that are lesser of intelligence, I'd bet. So, the wolves I don't think have been around in a lot of, like, major metropolitan areas. They've kind of been sequestered off, so maybe they wouldn't. I would hope they wouldn't, but I'm not just going to bank on the fact that, they're not going to be fine. Keep them over there. I don't want to be near them. I don't want to live near the wolf population.
I'm not trying to say that you should. I'm not trying to say to bring wolves into your home.
Oh, you're not going to like the present I got you. It's just like scratching on the door. I wish you would have told me that before you came over. Oh, darn.
So what would you call this episode? The animal episode?
We talked about animals, foods. I mean, we don't really keep it ever to any consistent topics, just kind of whatever's on the brain.
Yeah, but we got to title it something.
Yeah, I usually come up with the titles when I'm going back and editing it, because I usually get time to just think with it, sit with it. Like, I really like the title of our last one, Male Coconut Trees Are Not Bonk, because that made me laugh so much. Just like, what do you mean? No bonk from the coconut trees. That's what they do. They grow coconuts. It boggles my mind. You could have a coconut tree that just doesn't grow coconuts. Like you grow a rose, but it just doesn't have the bud. You're just like,
well, no,
why grow the rose?
You gotta have some way to, like, spread pollen, right? Like, it would be like a tree that doesn't, like an apple tree that doesn't produce apples.
Right. It's like, is it even an apple tree?
Some type of flowers, and it's the same species.
I was gonna say, is it even an apple tree then? If it's not producing apples, is it even a coconut tree, or is it just like a tree that is the same kind of related to the coconut tree that doesn't produce coconuts? I don't think you can be a coconut tree unless you have coconuts.
What's the same species? But that's now I'm thinking cherry blossoms.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Japanese cherry blossom trees. You know, they got a whole bunch of them planted in the capital.
Mm-hmm.
Do they grow cherries?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just the name of them, just because they're like pink.
Okay.
I think it has.
I've never seen one with actual cherries on them.
Where did the cherry blossom name come from? I don't know. Cherry blossoms are also in my Krusty Krab bill. I got a nice view of them from the Krusty Krab.
Ooh.
Where does the cherry blossom name come
Real
from?
trash heads would know that from the Trash Can Jones stream.
Ayo. No, I think it's just because it's pink. There's not really any super explanation for it. They're called sakura, which means either tree or flowers in Japanese.
See, that makes more sense. I like that more than cherry blossom. Because it's not a cherry blossom.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's just maybe our name for it.
Yeah.
The Japanese word for cherry blossom is sakura. Yeah, and there's no really, like, at least from the quick Google, there's no, like, this is why they're called this. So I guess, yeah, it must be just like an Englishization of, like, that looks like them cherry trees we got, or whatever.
Alas. Did you ever hear the tree of 40 fruit?
No, like 40 different fruit?
Yeah, I'm going to look this up because I want to say the artist's name. But basically, it's a sort of like botanist art thing created by the Syracuse University professor Sam Van Aken using the technique of grafting.
Syracuse.
I am fine with that, Syracuse. But this is a rendering of it, but it is really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
very
and the
colorful.
idea is that, you know how most of our citrus is grown from a lemon tree.
Yeah, and lemons aren't like a real fruit.
I mean, maybe some type of hybridization thing happened at some point, but you can do that because they're like citrus and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Well, the tree of 40 fruit is stone fruit. So you got peaches, you got plums, you got apricots, you got cherries, you got crab apples, and probably like different types of cherries and different types of peaches and stuff like that. I just think it's really cool. Like that's like, if I could accomplish one thing by like 80, it would be to own land and to have trees as interesting as that on it.
Yeah, that'd be cool, honestly. Just have a whole big orchard of trees.
Well, I mean, one tree is an orchard in itself.
The one cool tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lemons are a hybrid, by the way, of a citron and a bitter sour orange. They were created through the breeding over many centuries. Mm-hmm. Lemons, along with oranges, grapefruits, limes, mandarins, and other citrus, are hybrids derived from other ancestral fruits. Yeah, lemon isn't like a thing found in nature. We made that.
I mean, I guess, but like saying you said it's not a fruit, and that makes me think
it's
a mule.
Yeah, no.
Which, like, a mule is a real animal. Granted, it's like not something. I mean, I guess it could happen in nature, but it's a horse and a donkey crossbred.
Right.
And crossbred mammals, at least to my knowledge, are infertile.
Right.
Like, the liger. Or
I think horse and zebra can also mate together, but yeah.
That's wacky.
They're basically the same animal, just striped horse.
Well, I mean, I heard that, like, zebras are aggressive, like, way more aggressive than any horses.
Makes sense.
I mean,
they're like safari animals. They live out in the plains. They're like actual wild animals. Horses were like wild for a little bit until we broke them. There's not really wild horses out there anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure horses were brought over from the old world.
They were brought here on boats.
Yeah.
We the Native American people, I believe, got them from us.
Yeah.
Yes, they were never even native to here, so there's never wild horses here. You're probably correct. Although, there probably was some wild horses, like, because, I mean, you go into the Red Dead games and all the other cowboy games, there are wild horses. There are probably some that got loose. And
they also, the Red Dead games also have guys getting eaten by coyotes on the side of the road.
True, yeah. Coyotes and wolves.
Yeah.
And cougars. Which, speaking of other things, we were talking about, like, things that are crossbreeds and kind of not real. Do you know what a panther is?
It's a black mountain lion.
It's a black jaguar. But it's the same
kind
of deal. Yeah, it's just the same. It's the same exact kind of cat. It's just got the reverse albinoism. I forget what it's called, but it's just all black instead of all white, and that's what a panther is.
I think it's melanistic.
Something like that. It's
like
something
melanin?
with their melanin. Yeah. But that's people like saw it as like the black hunting cat, and they like it was so different. They were like, "Oh, that's a whole other animal." They didn't realize it was literally the same thing until a long time after.
Did you ever see, the whole Lewis and Clark expedition into the Louisiana Purchase? Did you ever see their illustrations of grizzly bears?
No.
It's like giant ravenous dogs.
Oh, yeah?
And the only reason I can think of that they wouldn't have a great illustration of a grizzly bear is because they're just trying to get the fuck away from it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's just the best, like, what they can do. Whoever survived, like, it's just this giant dog thing. I don't know, man. It fucking ate us. It ate Tim over there, and it was going through Rick, and I just started running, man. That's exactly it. It's what you call it. I bet, too, because I don't know how much there was back then, but there used to be, like, the whole megafauna days when the atmosphere was super dense, so, like, all animals were just giant. So they were probably still, like, desizing from that. Because, like, other animals that ate other animals were giant, too. Because, like,
I don't think that's the case for grizzly bears, because the mass extinction event that got rid of the dinosaurs, mammals had their era afterwards because small burrowing animals survived that. And then, grew into other things.
Well, I know that the history of the jaguar was during, like, those megafauna days. It used to be just, like, this super fat, not really agile cat whatsoever. Because all it would do was prey on, like, sloths. There were, like, giant three-toed sloths.
Yeah, I know about the big old sloths. They would eat avocados. And that's how they would, that's how avocados would get propagated. These giant, scaly things that get eaten by giant, furry things.
Right. But jaguars would have to kill these like gigantic animals, and the way they would kind of evolve to do it was like, well, even though they're slow and I can just sit here and kind of eat it, it's going to take a long time. So they evolved to have these super long teeth to just bite their head, stab their brain, end it. But then, since the whole like atmosphere kind of leveled out and I think it's like the CO2 in the air got thinner, and that's what made everything kind of shrink down, the jaguars couldn't hunt the giant sloths anymore because they weren't around. So basically they had like a fight camp over evolution of like trimming down from heavyweight to middleweight, of where they had to get stronger, faster, and hunt smaller things. And what they settled on was hunting fucking crocodiles or alligators, whatever's out there. And they literally will just like
what
jump.
A food source.
It's crazy as hell. That's something that hunts dinosaurs. It just jumps into the water, eats their head first, and then just drags them out. It's the craziest damn thing. That's my argument for why jaguars are the true king of the jungle. Fuck a tiger, fuck a lion. A jaguar will just jump them and bite them once. Done. They might be bigger, they might be stronger, but that jaguar has been fighting at weight classes above its level for decades, for centuries.
Mm-hmm. I also think about like cats. I mean, I have a tiny little cat.
Yeah, Suzu.
They sleep a lot, and I'm pretty sure big cats do too.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a carnivore thing, where like
eat big, sleep big.
Yeah, you don't have to eat that frequently, but when you do, it's an entire other animal.
Right.
Like the whole thing.
Yeah, and then you got to rest to be able to let your body just kind of take all that in. Because if you move around with all that, you're going to end up probably throwing it up and not digesting it properly.
Mm-hmm. And that's why, like, you see a lot of, like, big cats. Like, if you find videos of them and stuff like that, they're probably just sitting there.
Yeah.
Or a hunting video.
I was going to say, especially the male lions, they're like the quote, bigger, scarier ones, but they're not the ones doing the hunting.
Yeah, they just kind of vibe.
They just vibe and they'll let the females do it all. That's the other thing that's cool as fuck about jaguars, not pack animals. Like the tiger, they just chill by themselves and go and kill things. They do it all by themselves. Wild as hell. I would love to like see and like, be near a jaguar, but at the same time, it's kind of like the wolves. Like, they literally have bred to just kill you in one hit by biting your brain. They crush skulls. I don't want to be near them that much. They're cool looking, but one false move and I'm done. This is a good episode. Thank you for tuning in to episode 6 of CRT Cold Hard Trash. I don't know if we ever introed it.
We did intro it, but we didn't say our names.
Oh,
so,
dang.
I'm your host, Breeeeeeg, signing off.
And I'm your host, Trashcan Jones. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in next week for more talks about whatever we decide to talk about.
Bye.
See you.